My experiences with hypothyroidism and finding relief through Finnegans Wake. Some months ago I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, an underactive thyroid gland. Thyroid gland not producing enough hormones, which can be treated by taking daily hormone tablets to replace the hormones your thyroid is not making. Well, it could be worse. If you look closely in this picture, the crucifixion of St. Andrew, 1607, Caravaggio, bottom left. See a man there with a rounded goiter, a cervical lymphadenopathy, metastatic thyroid carcinoma, cancer of the thyroid, which is not hypothyroidism, of course. That's something much worse. The observable symptoms of an underactive thyroid are, well, you don't look like you've got a pair of testicles hanging from your chin. It's just extreme tiredness, low mood, dry skin, hair loss. But I'm losing my hair anyway, so I don't know if that's because of hypothyroidism or not. I'm taking levothyroxine, which so far is not working. My dosage has been increased 3 times so far. I am now on 100 milligrams. And furthermore, and I don't know if this is because of the hypothyroidism or because of the meds, I've had extreme diarrhea. I was caught with it recently while out shopping. I had stomach cramps trying to keep it in, really. Some of it was let loose before I made it home, and when I finally got to the bathroom, it just sprayed itself all out. Not a pleasant task having to clean it all up. Okay, Yo Cosmos, Ireland, AI. And for Kale Cannabis, gimme Cincinnatus with Italian, but sigh for all poco. Sikalek cheese, haggis good. Haggis strong, haggis never say die. For quid we have recipimus, recipe all out. And save that, Oliviero, for thy sunny day. Soup meagre, couldn't look at it. But if you buy me yon coat of the very furry best, I'll try and pull it on me. It's in fairly good order, and no doubt will serve to him. Remove this broadcloth. Next stage, tell the table for a variety of Huguenot legumes. I'll try my set on edges, grapeling and agary dukes, grilled over birchen rods, with a few bloomin' cows in Albies. I want to get outside monasticism. Mass and meat no man's journey, eat a missile less. Nuts for the nerve, a flitch for the flu. And for to rejoice the chambers of the heart, the spirit of the spice isles, curry and cinnamon, chutney and cloves. All the vital means is beginning to suzzle in tune, and the hormones to clingle-clangle, fudgem cates and yaps and nobok, and Ericsson onus. On King's Clud and XOX, XOXO, and XOOXOX, XXOX, OXXOXX, till I'm fuss-fed like fung stiff, and very presently from now post haste, it's off. You'll see me off on my usual rounds again to draw terminus lower and kill her down and let her loose, let her speak. Let us muck to little anamere, and the roomiest house even in Ireland, if you can understand that. And my next item's platform, it's how I'll try and collect my extra professional postages, owing to me by Thaddeus Kelly Esquire, DR, for non-desirable printed matter. Well, I won't go into all the explanations of that. Just some of it. O cosmos, Greek, that is, the universe. As for Cael Canon Cabis, forgive my Gaelic, Cal Cayanin, whitehead cabbage, dish of cabbage and potatoes with butter. Also called Canon, Irish dish of cabbage, potatoes and butter cooked together, plus cabis, the Swiss German word for cabbage. The Spice Islands, an island group in East Indonesia. From the 16th century, a source of spices, especially nutmeg, mace and cloves. Spice Isle slang for the privy, the toilet, and the fundament. Curry, a pungent dish of vegetables, meats flavoured with curry powder, eaten with rice. Cinnamon in a bark of an East Indian tree, dried in the sun in rolls or quills, used as spice. Chutney, a strong hot relish or condiment compounded of ripe fruits. Acids or sour herbs flavoured with chilies, spices, etc. Clove, a dried flower bud, Caryophyllus aromaticus, much used as a pungent aromatic spice, usually in plural, plus C-A-C-C-A-C, cac, Irish, crap. Sozzle, to mix or mingle in a sloppy manner, sozzled. Chewing, tune, hormones, harmonies. Oinos, Greek, wine. Steak and peas and bacon and rice and onions on duckling, and if you replace the X's with consonants and the O's with vowels, cabbage and boiled Protestants, an Irish term for potatoes. Fussed, fed like fung stiff. Stuffed, stuffing, Falstaff. Stuffed like Falstaff. Falstaff from Shakespeare, Henry IV. All the vital means is beginning to suzzle in tune and the harmonies to clingle clangle. All the vitamins suzzle in tune and the harmonies to ding dong. This is a passage from the Wake about Shem the penman, which is self-portrait of Joyce himself. The writer, a portrait of the artist, but it is narrated from the point of view of his mother Shaun, the postman, thereby indirectly presenting us with a character portrait of him too, with his prejudice against Shem very much in evidence. In the wake, the ridiculing and disparaging of Shem culminates in a Latin passage. Excuse my Latin. Primum opefex altus prosatur, ad terram viviparum et cuncta potentum sine uli pudora nec venier suscepto pluviali atque disintus perisomatis natibus nudus uti nati fusent sessi atropinguens flens et gemens in manum suam evacuative, highly prosy crap in his hand, postia animal negro exoneratus classicum pulsans stercus proprium quod epalavat dejectionis was in vas olim honourable twistite posuit eodem sub invocationi fratiorum geminorum medati et godari lati ac melliflu minxit somnum qui incipit lingua mea calamus scriba velociter scribentus magna voce cantitans. Did a piss, says he, was dejected as to be exonerated. Demum ex stecora turpicum divi Orionis eo sunt itati mixto cocto frigoric exposito en costum sibi fecit indelibili faked Orions, the indelible ink. Which may be translated thus. First the artisan, the profound progenitor, approaching the fruitful and all-powerful earth without shame or pardon, put on a raincoat and ungirded his pants, and with buttocks naked as if they were on the day of his birth, while weeping and groaning defecated into his hand. Next, having relieved himself of the black living excrement, he, while striking the trumpet, placed his own excrement, which he called his scatterings, purgation, into a once honourable vessel, chalice of sadness, and into the same place, under the invocation of the twin brothers, Medardus and Godardus, he pissed joyfully and melodiously, continuously singing with a loud voice the psalm that begins, "My tongue is a scribe's quill, writing swiftly." Finally he mingled the odious excrement with the pleasantness of the divine Orion, and from this mixture, which had been cooked and exposed to the cold, he made for himself indelible ink. Shem must undergo a complete and painstaking purgation of his sins and faults, and towards the end of this chapter Shem will endeavour to absolve and vindicate himself through his art. Sean characterises the process of making ink or writing as scatological, and Shem, through the bowels of his misery, is the alchemist who becomes transaccidentated into his art. For amidst the self-mockery, Joyce is setting forth a profound and decidedly original principle of artistic creativity. Transaccidentation. In medieval philosophy, an accident is an attribute that may or may not belong to a subject without affecting its essence. Were you to lose one of your essential properties rather than one of your accidental properties, you would no longer be you. To put it in the terminology of modality, an essential property of an object is a property that it must have, while an accidental property of an object is one that it merely happens to have, but that it could not have had. In Catholicism, transubstantiation refers to the miraculous transformation of the substance, but not of the accidents being the appearance of bread and wine, into the body and blood of Christ during the sacrament of the Eucharist. In transaccidentation, however, the term first introduced by Duns Scotus, it is the accidents of the Eucharistic bread and wine that are changed into the body and blood of Christ at the moment of their consecration. Shawn thus exploits the term to describe the Eucharistic doctrine of artistic creation, whereby Shem's appearance of bodily get-up, his accidents, is transmuted into the accidents or appearance of ink or words, within which Shem's spiritual substance continues to dwell. For the notions that are behind the term transaccidentation are used to give expression to Joyce's remarkable insight into the act of literary creation and into the artist's relation to art, as the artist in producing words is transaccidentated through the slow fires of consciousness into a divided chaos, perilous, potent, common to all flesh, human only, mortal, and through these words is thereby present to every reader. The Eucharistic metaphor appears elsewhere in Joyce's work. In a portrait of the artist as a young man, the artist is equated with a priest of eternal imagination, transmuting the daily bread of experience into the radiant body of ever-living life. But in the wake, the Eucharistic imagery attains to a significantly higher level with his use of the term transaccidentation, for now, and somewhat paradoxically, the artist who must deal with that which is intrinsically human, and therefore that which is mortal, achieves an everlasting presence in the creation of his or her art, and invites all who partake in it to share in it in a thoroughly extreme and transforming type of liberty that goes well beyond temporal restrictions. And what is more intrinsically human than going to the toilet? We all have to do it. Though I do have to wonder if having to defecate is one of our accidents. I know all about accidents in this area. Not essential to being human. The distinction between accidental and essential properties is beset with problems. It may not be too much of an exaggeration to say that the characters in English Victorian and Edwardian literature, but particularly Victorian literature, did not have bodies. Hence, Ezra Pound being so shocked by the Calypso episode in Joyce's Ulysses, as it follows Leopold Bloom into the outhouse and stays with him while he does what needs to be done. Pound wrote to Joyce, "The contrast between Bloom's interior poetry and his outward surroundings is excellent, but it will come up without such detailed treatment of the dropping faeces." Pound did not understand its functions. Perhaps it foreshadows the defecating Shem's purging of his sins and faults, together with his transaccidentation into the divided, perilous, potent chaos that is the way of all flesh. One of Anthony Burgess's best-known protagonists, the dyspeptic poet Franz Xavier Enderby, a lapsed Catholic, composes his poetry while seated on the toilet. This is in the Enderby trilogy of novels, by the way. Inside Mr. Enderby, Enderby Outside and Enderby's Dark Lady, I think they're called. That is when he is at his most inspired. And so the artist vindicates himself or herself through art. Let the Seans of this world accuse them or ridicule their alleged pretensions to learning, or belittle their achievements as much as satisfies them. The artist is absolved when in communion with the reader. I will not go so over the top as to think of Joyce as a saviour. Nonetheless, I will say that the discovery of his great work has been something of a revelation for me, or perhaps I should say epiphany, in the Joycean context. Christianity preaches about sin and guilt and what to do about it. Sigmund Freud told us about guilt and repression and how to free ourselves from it. But it is art that can really transmute the daily bread of experience into the radiant body of ever-living life. I'm still recovering, by the way, I'm not very well. Ever-living life. And so with my own accusers and mockers say what they will to me, intend what they want. As a consequence of my encounters with Joyce now, such experiences are transfigured in such a manner that is nothing in me that doth fade, but rather doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange, which some of you will recognise as from Shakespeare's The Tempest. So I finish with a passage from the great Enderby, which he'll have wrote on the toilet, as he writes everything there. Caution, caution, the rocks proclaim, the dear departed, the weeping widow, will meet you in the core of flame, the running tap casts a static shadow. Thank you for listening. I'm on the mend now, by the way, hopefully.